Hello, how are you? Engineer Waleed here. Today, actually, I am with you with performing one of the mega project. So, before going to create the project, I would like to know that the first of all, you should have a clearly defined the documents. As a planner, you must know about the documents, like when the project will start, when the project will start. Number second, when actually your what is your data date and its impact on the activities. Number third, what is the impact of the calendar on your activities? If you don't know the impact of the calendar on your activities, it means that you are in a big trouble. So this is I have already created the EPS and the project, what actually even the kids can do. Now what actually I will do over here, if I will right click over here, and if I will open the project over here, so you can see the project has been opened. But at this time, we are only blank that what type of data we should follow over here to follow this project. Make sure one thing, if you are working as a planner, that the starting date has been same. So first of all, you should have to click on the add option over here. So you should have to write over here the key dates. The key dates. So after applying the key dates, okay, after applying the key dates, you should have a other two criteria, like you can subdivide it up to the mobilization. Why mobilization? In order to define the each criteria separately. Each criteria means that, like we are gonna do this project now. Now you can see very clearly that in this project you can see this picture, but at this time you are definitely confused that what is this. These are actually zones, what actually created into the different formats. So it will be some like this, like this, like this, like this, and then like this. So first of all, when actually G1 will be created, F1 will be created, E1 will be created, T1 will be created. These are is actually divided into the different zones. So into the mobilization, we will, after creating this plan, this plan, this plan, this plan, this plan, this plan, we will definitely what we should do. We will apply the milestones on it. This is very clearly and very defined. Now, what is the second step you have to do over here? After the mobilization, the second step every engineer must do is actually engineering and procurement. Engineering and procurement. Now, what is actually engineering and procurement? Now, in the engineering and procurement, you should have to separate two things. The first of all, submission of engineering drawing. And then you should write over here engineering work. Keyboard. Submission of shop drawings. And other is actually add over here. And you should have to write the approval of shop drawings. approval of drawings. Now, this is actually the engineering terminology. What is actually referred to the submission of drawings, and what is actually referred you at the approval of the drawings. So once you will click on the over here, so you should have to give the separate heading, but it is like you should have to keep over here the procurement work, and this procurement work is actually related with what? Submission of material, and then approval of material, and then approval of material. So in this case, what actually we will do? You can also do this approval of material, but if you are doing this project, what actually you can do? You can directly write the names over here. Now, first of all, we should have to see that what type of utilities we have. So this is MEP site design over here. This is the PUQ over here complete. So first of all, the thing you should have to follow is actually what this is actually mechanical utility work. So in this plan, in this zone, when we have conducted the meeting, it was actually divided into the mechanical and the electrical terminologies. Okay, so this is mechanical utility work. So first of all, you have to submit the material of the mechanical utility. So if you directly wanted to start from after the procurement, you can just give the heading procurement work and what type of procurement work. Number one, mechanical utilities. Mechanical utilities. Now, why actually I'm not giving the engineering? Why? Why? Because in the engineering, if you have a proper solution and shop drawing, that's fine. But this is only zoning project, and it was consisted on the 3D model only. What actually who will give you? That will definitely the design team will give you. The design team will give you. Okay. So now mechanical utilities work. And now what is actually included into the mechanical utilities work? This is very much important to write over here. Now what type of material you want to approve into the procurement of work? Now, into the procurement, the mechanical utilities. So the first of all, this is actually the first thing you are watching over here is actually the severage line. Supply and installation, direct buried solid well UPVC. Pipe work, it can be CPVC, PPRC, like that, but it is UPVC. So we should have to write the UPVC, but this is the activities. So we should never go for the activities. We always follow the severage line over here. So first of material, we will write over here severage line. Severage line. Now let's go to the other. What is the major scope is actually what actually we should have to approve. This is actually the main hall work, the second. This is the wall work. This is the clean out work. But we should, if we consider the storm drainage, then it is fine. The storm drainage. So this is also the GRP pipe network 1600, 1500. This is also included, but it will be referred to the activity. So first of all, we should have to follow the storm drainage over here. Storm drainage over here. So this is the sewerage line, this is the storm drainage. Now, not only this, But you should have to consider that even not a single thing should be left from the POQ. So here is actually walls and ancillary work. This is also included. Walls and ancillary work. Definitely you should have to approve the walls. A different type of walls. It should be gate walls. It should be wall walls. It should be drain walls. Any type of walls. But here it is asking you that walls and ancillary work included flange and adopted all necessary on connection in accordance with the drawing and the specification. So you should have to copy it and you should have to write over here walls and ancillary work. Now add over here. Now what is the other type of thing we should have to follow into the mechanical utilities? The lift station is also included into it definitely. This is also very much important. The lift station, but this is into the electrical panels. So what actually I will do? This is the firefighting line. The firefighting line is also very much important in this plan because this is actually one of the major things. Because definitely we should have to approve the fire extinguishers, fire boxes, and like that. Now this is was initially work we have done this value of chamber with this done this. The fire hydrant, you can also add the fire hydrant if you want. No worries, but we leave it. This is domestic water supply. This is very much important. As a planner, you should have to add the domestic water supply over here. Now, this is the walls, okay, value of chamber, okay. This is gray water return. The gray water return is also very much important. This is also very much important. So you should have to write over here because this is ASTM standard T2665 AST. And now the main holes, okay. This is the gas pipeline. You can see the black steel pipe. This is also very much important because gas pipeline is one of the initial part. So we should also approve this material as well. Chilled and hot water piping is actually the other thing we should have to approve. Make sure one thing, this is not a single thing you should have to left from the POQ. Otherwise, your plan will be cancelled. I have almost every type of plan, actually, but actually I have did with the different companies as a mega project. And if you want to join my pathway of planning, contact with me, okay? This is my, let me write my number over here. This is my number. PC registered, Pakistan engineering person, 643. So, chilled and hot water piping. We have already had the gas pipeline over here. Now, if there is actually other thing, what actually we should have to write over here. This is the main holes, main holes. This is electrical utilities. We don't have to write over here. This is the package substation. Power cables, LV cables. These are actually related with the electrical utilities. So we cannot make it enter into the mechanical utilities. Okay, so make sure one thing, don't merge the electrical into mechanical utilities. So let me revise the plan again. If there is any other thing, but actually, if we leave over here, this is gray water network. Okay, we have already added the gray water network. So I have told you the gray water return is very much important, which has been added over here. Firefighting, okay, okay. Value of timber, okay. The fire hydrant, you can also add this as a material approval. It is also very much important. Gray water return. Okay, we have already done this. We have done this, and now this is also very much important. If you will read this, supply installation of UPVC pipe work, including trench excavation, pipe bedding, installation of pipes. So industrial wastewater system. This industrial wastewater system is also very much important. Why? Because your children hot water piping, this is very much important. Your domestic water piping is very much important. That is actually supply the light domestically. And industrial wastewater system is very much important. Why? Because if any work you are doing into the industry and you are gonna waste the water, and where it will be go? Like industrial wastewater system is very much important. You should have to do the excavation. You should have to make the trenches, bedding, installation, and pipes. Now, if you gonna go to the trench, if you're gonna go to the trench, there is also the productivity for this. Let me open the productivity before you. You can see that this is actually a clearly productivity over here. Now you can see over here, this productivity is actually for the small trenches. This is for the small trenches. So you can see, but this is for the farm work making. This is not for the excavation or like that. But make sure one thing, the trenches has also a different productivity. Okay, different productivities. This is also very much important that you must know about the productivities. So for the complete pathway of the planning, join my program and become a successful planner. This is industrial wastewater system. So I should have to write over here after fire hydrant. In the firefighting line, fire hydrant, and then I will add over here. And then what actually I will do, I will write over here industrial wastewater system. So if I will write the industrial wastewater system over here, so you can write, you can check that we have right over here. So now, so again, we will cross check either we never hope so we never left anything over here. This is a main hole supply and installation of precast concrete main hole chamber and the like, including cover and frames, earthwork, external bitumen, protection, internal HDPE lining, industrial main holes having diameter 1200 mm, precast concrete, cover dia this one. So this is actually the main hole. So definitely we should have to take the approval for the main hole. So you should have to write over here the main hole as well. So this is very much important. Everything you are watching over here, so you should have to take the approval. So now here you can see that we have done the mechanical utilities. Now what about the electrical utilities? For the electrical utilities, you have to read the separate. Make sure one thing: the adding the WBS is actually the kid things. Even the kid can add, but you should know about the knowledge behind this, that what is actually the running in your mind. It is not necessary, this project is just an example, but this is real based project, but this is taking as the example. But there's a multiple tips, multiple tricks what actually you should have to follow, okay, as a planner. So here I will add over here electrical utilities. Electrical utilities. Now into the electrical utilities, the first of all you should have to add over here So into the electrical utilities, the first of all, what actually the thing you should have to follow. This is actually the electrical utilities work. So the first of all, if you will see over here, this one is actually the plan. Install and commission this one. No, this is yes, this is important. The metal clad switchgear, including lucid switchgear, it is very much important. Metal clad switchgear. So you should have to take the approval of the metal clad switchgear. This is very much important. So what is actually the other thing? The package of substation. Okay, we never go for it. Yes, this is important. Power cables. This is very much important. So you should have to take the approval for the power cables. Like you are working as a medium voltage cable. What type of cable you are actually doing in your plan? Now, what is actually your what is the other thing? The other thing is actually LV cable. Yes, this is also very much important. So what is the other thing? If you will open it, so you must know. So these are you are watching. These are the activities. We can directly import the activities into the Excel in order to save our time. LV cable for outdoor lighting. We have already done this. This is external lighting. Yeah, we should have to follow this as well because external lighting approval is very much important for us because lighting is actually one of the part of our plan. Grounding and bonding for electrical system. Yes, this is not important, but we can go for the wiring devices. Now the power sockets. Yes, we can go for the power sockets as well. Yes, yes, yes. This is important. And now medium voltage duct bank. Uh, yes, the approval of duct bank. We can say yes. This is important because LV ducts, LC ducts. These are we normally use for it. So we should go over here. Duct bank, it can be MV, it can be LV duct bank, MV duct bank. You can see this is LV duct bank. Okay. So if this is LV duct bank, then definitely we have, if you will write the duct bank, then it is not the clarify. Either you want to go for the LV duct bank or MV duct bank. But here actually we should have to go for the low voltage or medium voltage. But you should have to define very clearly that we are gonna go the approval for the LV duct bank. And you are gonna approval for the MVW. This is very much important for you, for all the engineers. Now, what is actually the thing is LV duct bank and MV duct bank. You should have to separate it. This is LV duct bank and this is low front utility work. Integrated security access and surveillance equipment. Yes, this is very much important. You should have to write over here to the mechanical system, the surveillance. You can write only this one, integrated security access or surveillance equipment. This is also fine. Okay. So I will not write the integrated. I will write the security access and surveillance equipment to approval. This is access control system. Okay. No, we not need it. Wireless access system. Not needed. Yeah, fiber optic cable is something important. We should have to make the fiber optic cables, the approval for it. This is, yeah, this is important. SKAD system. SKAD system is actually the system, conduit, cable trays, trunking cables, accessories, any ancillary work, switch core, BLD, IO list, drawings, and reasonability matrix included. This is actually first and second phase into the SCADA system. Now we will write over here. We will right click and add over here. So here, this is the other technique over here. Grounding and burning was also very much important. I think so. We have left it. Let me check the grounding and burning. Yes, this is grounding and bonding. This is very much important for electrical system. Generator is very much important in the electrical system. This is generator set. So I will write over here. I will add it and I will right click and add over here and I will write over here the generator set first. And then I will add over here and I will write over here the grounding and bonding. So almost this type of material, what actually we have to give for the approval. Now let's check the other utilities. If we left any, then definitely we should have to write. LV cable crossing we have already write. RCC pipe for LV cable crossing. You can also make it the approval, but this is fine. Low current utility work. This is also very much important. We left it, then we have make the blender for now. Definitely we should have to add over here, and we should have to okay, low current utility work. Integrated security system, surveillance system, access of control. Okay. SCADA system, BMS system. SCADA system that is actually supervisory control and data acquisition. Over here, cable trunk with covers, we don't need it, and duct bank. Duct bank including all disciplines, civil, earthwork, concrete work, thermal moisture, and electrical, mechanical account of the drawing and specification. So we should never the write over here the duct bank. Okay, so almost everything we have covered from here, what actually approval we have. Now make sure one thing, in this project, at the meeting time, this project is actually consisting on the different zones. Now let's discuss the first zone. This is actually G1 zone, but under the G1, there was actually one more zone that was called H1 zone. Okay, that's called H1 zone. Now, if you will see over here the clear picture, you can see the clear picture you can see. So this is actually the commencement date or notice to proceed date. That is actually very much important. I already given the concept in my program, in my plan, very deeply. Only this concept is consist of 1 hour class, very detailed. You can see the execution start from H1 to A1, then A2 to H2, then G2, F3, E3 till E3 till A3. This is something kind of things we have to follow into the activities. So excavation started from H1. So H1 means that H1, G1, F1, E1, D1, C1, B1, A1, then A2, B2, C2, D2, E2, and everything you should have to follow. So first of all, we're gonna start it from the H1. So we should have to make the separate from everything because this engineering and procurement is separate and this is separate. So I can write over here construction work. And now I will right click over here. And what actually I should have to write over here, zoning project work utilities, I can write the H1. And then I will go to the expand on. So here is actually zoning project work utilities H1. Now for the H1 category, you should have to keep in mind the two things. That is actually very much important. Now in the H1 category, what type of things is actually included? Okay. What type of thing is actually included to the H1 category? So construction work, you can also write over construction work or the zoning project utilities. It is also more good to explain your project in very detail. I have given this concept in my regular classes very deeply that at which condition, what actually you should have to follow. This is actually the zoning project work utilities H1. You should have to right click over here and head over here. So this is actually what. So in the H1 zone, we don't have any mechanical utilities, so only the electrical utilities. So what type of electrical utilities we have in the H1? So the first of all, into the H1, we have actually differentiated the, the actual utilities. So the first of all, in the H1, it is actually considered what type of cables. There is actually LUC external lighting over here. So you can also write over here electrical work. Into the electrical work, there is actually external lighting. So you should have to write over here LUC external lighting. Not LUC, because I can say that zoning or work utilities, LUC is something else, external lighting. So in the other thing, we should have to follow in this zone, after the meeting we have found, there is actually two fixed point, the two access point, direct bank, RCC, LV cables, low current utilities. This is actually very much important. Access control system first and second. So how we can define it? Not the access control system, but we can define it the system access point. What access control system or system access point, the both are the same thing. So we should have to write over here, and I will write over the system access point. System access point. So the system access point we have given over here. So after this, what actually we have followed? The two more things in this zone. It was actually LV duct bank for solar power system. I will write over here the LV duct bank. Other was what? Other was actually so in this zone project, after the meeting, I came to know that only these type of item from the POQ is actually we should have to perform at site. So if you will write here the direct braid cables or cable trays, ladder with covers, cable tank with covers, it will be some extra. Okay, if such type of work is not going to do at the site, if you are not interested to do this work at the site, then why are you putting this? This is actually the LV cable. So this is LV duct tank. So and LV cable was also at this site. I have noted it into some of the diary over here. So LV. So this is the LV cables. So LV. It's just appeared and then disappeared. LV cables, yes, this one. If you remember that we have last time also put it into the approval, the electrical utilities, the LV cable. Why we have put into the approval? Because this is very much important, LV cables. I will write over here the LV cables. So this is somehow into the H1. Now right click over here, add over here, make it separate and convert it into the zone project work utilities G1. It means that we have done this for now, like we have done the H1. We have done the H1. Now we move one step ahead, that is actually G1. Then one step ahead, that is F1. Then one step ahead, E1. Similarly, with this, we should manage this. So this is zoning work utilities G1. Now into the G1, there is actually mechanical utilities as well. And in the mechanical utilities, what type of system is actually, what type of work is actually going to do into the G1. Like for example, if you have different projects, one is here, other is in other city, other is in other city, or other in other zone. Some the paint has been started, some the slab is coming, in some the finishing work is gonna perform, in some the flooring work is gonna perform, in some the cladding work is gonna perform, the some MEP work is gonna perform. So similarly, in this G1 zone, the mechanical utilities work. And what is actually into the mechanical utilities? Into the mechanical utilities, there is only one work is going to be performed. So if this is sewerage line has been going to perform, you should have to write over here, but it was not sewerage, it was storm drainage work. I should have to write over here the storm drainage. And now electrical utilities. Now to the electrical utilities, almost the same point, but actually we have noted at the top. Here, here. Okay, so we are now we don't need to move the effort again, and like that everything is same. Electrical utilities. So this again copied over here. No worries. I will gonna delete this and then electrical utilities. Fine now. Yes. Okay. So the same thing is actually included. So you should not have to follow this. So this is H1 completed, G1 completed for now. So you can see that here is the H1 and G1. So similarly F1, E1, D1, but make sure one thing, the priority has been different. Sometime mechanical work, sometime electrical work, sometime both work, sometime have a multiple of activities like you are watching over here. It could be consist of the mechanical sewerage line. It can be consist on the valves, life stations, storm drainage, manholes, firefighting, and everything. It should be considered domestic water supply, grey water, and everything. It should be over here. Now, what is actually the electrical utilities over here? Now, into the electrical utilities, there is actually the external lighting. So there is a two choices before you. If you're gonna pick the external lighting from here, so first of all, I should have to add over here this external lighting. So supply, install, connect, and test of external lighting fixture. Dry escape type with anti-corrosion, finishing with degree of protection not less than IP-4. The price of including fixture, foundation, earthwork, excavation, backing, and all. So these are the external lighting fixtures, and I have separated it into the different sheet. So the first of all, this is actually the external lighting. Sorry, this is sheet 2. External lighting. So into the external lighting, you can see that every type of thing what actually you're watching over here has been taken from this point. So external lighting, foundation, excavation work. So you should have to copy this, like, and what actually you should do, if you have come to the activities over here, let me refresh the P6 over here again, because sometimes it's gonna make some issues over here. So these are all the sewerage line, storm drainage, valves, firefighting line, domestic water supply, grey water return. Again. So these are all actually included into the scope. Now, what is actually you are gonna do into the sewerage line? Let me add some of the activities over here, the simple activities, what actually makes you explain. This is sewerage network. This is sanitary sewerage and sewerage storm network. So you can see that into the sewerage system, we will gonna go to sanitary sewerage excavation, sanitary sewerage pipe installation. So you should have to write over here because we are only at the approval level. So you can write over here sanitary what sanitary sewerage, sanitary sewerage work, sanitary. You can write over here the main hole like this. You are going to do the pipe test. If everything is coming over here, cover installation, approval of cover because this is procurement work. So cover work. And this is actually submission of drawing, and this is only 3D model. So you can see that this is BIM 3D model and sanitary approval and all. And finally, the sign out clean installation, covers, and installation. So The installation is not into the source sanitary average, main hole pipe test, and this one. So you should have to delete this. So here, if we add the main hole already, so we don't need to write over here the main hole. Don't think so. We have write the main hole. Yes, a rule of main hole. So I don't need this. Similarly, you can do the storm drainage and also for the storm drainage for the walls and ancillary work, you should also for the walls, you can take the activities from here. Okay. So this is actually you can write the pipe connection ASTM UPVC socket pipe fitting, including trunk excavation, pipe bedding, supply installation of pipes and fitting, water leak test. This is very much important. Walls and ancillary work, including flange and adapter, all necessary in connection, all in accordance with the drawing and specifications. So you can write over here. If you cannot find a proper heading, you can write over here. Walls and ancillary work, including flange, adapter. It's very much important. So similarly, domestic water supply. So if it is the domestic water supply, then I have created also this one, the domestic water supply pipeline. So these are actually included. Again, the domestic water. So excavation is not into the procurement. So we can say the domestic valve chamber installation, valve chamber test, pipe test, flow meter, supply valve and flow meter test. Value of shower come. So I don't need it, but we can enter into the easily into the activities. So these are actually for the approval. Now let's go for the external lighting. System access point. So I am writing, make sure one thing, I am writing over here only one by one. But if you will join my regular program, what actually we will do, we will export each and everything at once into my plan because we don't have a proper time to finish the work one by one, one by one, one by one separate. So here is actually external lighting. Sorry. This one. Okay, we are now putting the one by one, but we don't need it. We have other trick as well. There's a multiple trick to perform the planning. Okay. So here, so what is the system access point? This is the access control system, first and second, supplying, installation, testing of cable, conduit, box, and all. So I have write the boxes, poles, foundation, earthwork, excavation, this one into the separately file. The CCTV, the access control system. So you can see excavation, pipe, excavation, foundation, poles installation, piping work, and this one. So if you will see the same thing, poles, foundation, earthwork, excavation, conduit with all necessary and ancillary work and material required. Okay, so some of the item I have taken from here: supply, poles, boxes, excavation, fitting. It means what type of fitting? Definitely pipe fitting. System access point. So I will write over here the system access point. Okay, so you can write the name directly or system access point. Sometime the planning is not so much like straight. You should have to fight your mind with it. So here is actually the and piping and wiring. What this piping and wiring shows you? This piping and wiring is actually flexible conduit fitting up to devices with all necessary accessories and ancillary work. So piping and wiring. So I will write over here what the piping and wiring. I again repeat that I am like putting the value one by one, but if you will join my program, I will give you different tips. Table test. So this is actually enough. Okay. So this is the concept and how you can take the data from the POQ. But make sure one thing, there is actually not a single deal with it. You should have a multiple project. It is now, this is actually lucid external project. Okay. That's fine. The level is also have a concept. What is levels in it? This is concept. And how much level we should go into the bid program? This is concept. How we can take the POQ data as we have took from here. But if we don't have a BOQ, then what actually we must have to do? This is also concept, what I will tell you in my regular program. What is chart view and how much it is important? What is milestones and WBS milestone? This is very much important. What is work products and documents? Also in this window, what is this? This is also important. But if you will miss any scope in the plan, what type of objections will come? It's also very much important. Least but not last, how much effort you have to do to make this a schedule pass because the objections will come. Let me show you a very single point. Not, we are not finished over here. So you can see that this is actually a thing, what actually you have to follow. There is some actually the important criteria. What is milestone? This is the all about the schedule, milestone schedule, summary schedule, this is schedule. What is the remaining percentage and how we would know and how many plan and how many percentage we have into this. Thank you very much for for connecting with me and for watching my video. If you want to join my full program, the complete pathway of planning from the zero or basic to professional, join my program. Thank you very much.